I killed Nathan Hale. I had no choice. He was becoming one of them. He could have stopped me, but I think he wanted to die. At least that's what I keep telling myself.
Hello there, Sir from 17 once again, bringing you to Chapter 8 in my Resistance 3 Superhuman difficulty video walkthrough. And this level is entitled Ambush, because that's exactly what we're setting up. And you're going to notice a lovely cut just then between the bullshit that carries off in the cutscene to the gameplay, because I trimmed it out so that it's a little bit more streamlined and a little bit to the action. And right now, before you go and release the drone from the box, as it's telling me in big bold letters, I would definitely run around this area, checking everything you can to get as much ammo as possible, and then release it. Because what's going to happen is the drones themselves, they send alert signals out to Chimera. And as soon as you destroy the drone, it's going to trigger the ambush. The Chimera dropship's going to turn up, and all hell's going to break loose. But luckily enough, I do have a pretty interesting strategy for this section, and it involves this area that I'm at. So you'll notice I throw a hedgehog grenade there just in case anybody tries to rush me, because playing this section the first time through on difficulty, which is a fucking awful thing to say. Why would you call your difficulty that? Is horrific. Enemies rushed me when I was up here, but on this playthrough, they don't so much rush me as they do shit on my face from a distance. So it starts off pretty slow, pretty easy. There is a lot of life spaced out around the ruins. It's just a case of using the best weapons you can for the situation, and just being intelligent. And unfortunately, the enemies are so accurate that you can get tagged all the time if you're not careful. And if you try and rush it, you'll just get hit even more. So this is a game that definitely rewards patience, definitely rewards, being a cheesy bastard, and those are the strategies that are going to get you through the game. So the first thing that will happen here is when the dropship arrives, the dropship, that would be awful, wasn't it? A flying turd, that's not what we want. No, when the dropship turns up, it's going to drop off a bunch of troops, it's going to get blown up, and the troops are going to be set on fire. But this little cutscene here is going to introduce you to what those shield bots do. So, as you can see, that guy's got a lovely aura now, he's all gold, Super Saiyan style, and it basically means he's going to take a massive beating, unless you destroy the drone that is providing him with the shield. And you need to always prioritize the shield, because if you don't, the guy's going to have a chin like fucking Mike Tyson. He's just not going to go down, and he's probably going to end up pushing your mother down the stairs. So it's a case of you need to focus on destroying the drones before you shoot what they're protecting. If anybody's played Team Fortress 2, it's the same concept of the medic. If the medic is powering some guy up, you don't focus on the guy he's powering up, you focus on the medic, because if they go ubercharge, then you are fucked. But right now, you'll notice I'm getting damage from various areas, and the reason for this is there's a lot of long legs, there's a lot of normal Chimera with bullseyes, and they're just getting the better of me. So I put the auger on to try and see somebody, and lo and behold, I hear this bastard on my Tritons, and he's way too close. So fortunately for me, he didn't decide to shoot me, he went into the melee range, which does trigger that animation that you just saw, and I was luckily enabled to take him out. But down here is another good section, because you are in cover. There's two augers there, we need to get rid of those because they are priority targets. You'll notice I throw a grenade, but there's a hell of a lot of those shields, so I swap my grenades to the EMP, I throw the EMP grenade to get rid of the shield, and then I get lucky there, headshotting that auger who had already been weakened by previous fire. And I kill his buddy, and right now I know I'm safe. I throw up an auger shield, and it's just a case, oh no, I'm not safe, that is another auger, that's two more fucking augers, Jesus Christ, it's like a convention. You need to focus on the augers, they are so dangerous, it is unbelievable. But as soon as they're all dropped, stay up here, make sure nobody rushes you, keep looking through your auger's lens to see if there's any more random Chimera knocking about. And right now, all you're waiting for is for Elvis to basically say, come on, we've got to get out of here, Joe, we've got the power cell. And I go a little bit early on this video, so do not follow me when I go. Wait a couple minutes for the door to open, because I run out into no man's land, and if there'd have been more of the long legs, I would have died. Fortunately for me on this run, there wasn't too much competition out there because I'd shot a lot of it. And I haven't realised that to my left right now is a bunch of enemies, so I'm getting really lucky. And that dude lands nearly on me. There's two of them, look at them, just landing really close. And the long legs do some serious damage if you let them. You really don't want to fuck about with them because they are serious trouble. But there's a ton of them down there. I should have grenaded that. That is an obvious grenade spot, but I don't think I've got any grenades, so I'll let myself off. Also, when you tag people with the bullseye, it does do more damage, I believe, because there's just something about the secondary function compared with the first function that makes it more damaging. This is when I came out a little bit earlier. there's the checkpoint. Either way, if I'd have died, I'd have been okay, but I don't. But you don't see me use the tag on the bullseye an awful lot. And the reason for this is I used to use it on the old game, because on the old game, when you hit them enough times with the bullseye, they blew up. But that is an upgrade that you get when you're level 3 with the bullseye, and I didn't have it for the majority of the game, so it wasn't quite as useful as it's proven to be in previous resistances for me. But this section here is kind of gay, if you ask me. You're carrying the power cell, and if you get shot a couple times, you will die almost immediately, so you need to be in as much cover as you can. You're going to see a really interesting edit here where I've cut out a death, and the reason for this is I got killed by thin air. There was nothing around me, nothing blew up, and I just fell over, so there you go. The screen's back to being full life. And it's one of those moments where sometimes you'll just die. It doesn't explain itself. Sometimes they'll shoot the shit out of you, other times they'll not even shoot you once. It's really crazy, and it's not the best, most enjoyable mechanic in a game, but it does look cinematic. It does feel frenetic and tense when you first do it, but when you get back here you realise everything is programmed to kind of ignore you. It's mostly about feeling really cinematic and nothing much else. It also throws a lot of checkpoints at you, which would have been nice in some of the later levels where shit gets insane, but at this moment it's not like you're not going to survive this area, because nothing's attacking you. They're too busy attacking the Widowmaker. And Elvis in front of you, he does draw a lot of fire, and he actually kills a few people, which is not necessarily useful, but better than some AI, because as we know playing games, some AI sucks massive cock. But once you get inside here, there's probably going to be another checkpoint. I got shot again from thin air, which is utter bullshit, but here is some life. There's the checkpoint, and here's a nice little convalescing moment where you get to get your thoughts back together, and you're not being chased by certain doom. And I used some of the trophy points in the shop on the game where you can buy rewards such as cheats and various other stuff like that. It's kind of cool. And I unlocked the health regen, and the description for it is something to do with my chimera, something is not working, health regen enabled, like resistance fall of man. And on resistance, your life only regenerated to how many squares you had. So for instance, I think max life was 4 squares, and if you got half the square damaged, if you got cover and you survived for a couple more seconds, it'd regenerate the rest of the square. It would not give you squares that are depleted. So I don't know what I'd compare it to, but the regen on this, when you enable it, does disable the brutal trophy, which you will get for beating the game on Superhuman. So unfortunately you cannot use any cheats. The only real cheat you're going to be able to do is by taking your upgraded guns across, and that's just, a new game plus. That's nothing special, but it will definitely help you if you're struggling. But continue following Elvis through this dilapidated building. Seen, far too much conflict in this resistance timeline. Completely ignore the long legs. There's no what you can do. You can't melee things. There's no need for it. And just enjoy some of the really, really nice level design, cause some of the water effects and the weather effects and everything kicking off, it all looks really, really nice, and it's all well put together. And after this section, you're going to be taking on... Well, I say after this section. There is a section where you're going to be defending Elvis for a little bit, and that is quite challenging because you get clusterfucked by a lot of enemies, and then after that you will be taking on the Widowmaker. So if you've been hungry for a boss fight and you want to take on one of those big powerful beasts, that is exactly what's going to be happening. Right now you will always get poisoned. It doesn't seem to do a lot of damage. It's almost as if it's programmed damage, so there's no excuse to die on that section. It's never happened to me. It probably won't happen to you. And when you get in the room, you will be able to get some med packs, and then there's going to be a little bit of dialogue from Elvis, who's going to be telling you everything and whatnot. So run around, come to this box, pick up the ammunition that's inside of it, and get yourself healed. So here we go. A little bit more exposition in the timeline of Resistance, so I'm going to talk about something different. I watched Super 8 the other night, and anybody that's listened to some older commentaries by me, you'll know that sometimes I will get misconceived notions about what's going to happen in films, and I'll go in with false pretenses, and the film will be completely different. And the one example I've used in the past was a film called Sanctum, which I actually thought there was going to have monsters in it, and I thought it was going to be like The Abyss/Aliens or something. So I spent the entire 2-hour film, or however long it is, expecting aliens to show up, and when they never did, I was a little bit disappointed, and it kind of detracted from the fact that the film was pretty good, and I did enjoy it. And a similar thing happened with Super 8, which for anybody that doesn't know, it's a J.J. Abrams film. It's kind of sci-fi, set I do believe in, I think it's the early 50s, maybe 60s. I'm not too sure about the timeline, but it's a period thing, and it's kind of like Goonies and E.T. slash, I don't know, something a little bit different. And the premise of the film is a bunch of kids who are all friends witness a train accident when they're filming something, because there's a bunch of them that are film buffs, and that's what they enjoy to do in the free time, and they're all working together as friends. And the military comes in and cordons off this area, but unfortunately that is the end of the video. I thought I had longer, god damn it, but I hope the video helped. I'll probably continue this discussion in the next one, and as always people, you take care.